I need a testing strategy of App Engine applications, as the SDK doesn't implement all the services exactly the way that the production environment does.
Okay.
Do you have any insight about how to test our applications, taking into account some of those differences?
Yeah, so I guess testing, there's a lot of ways to do testing. There's a lot of levels you can do testing. You can do unit testing, functional testing, integration testing. Development testing is pretty important with App Engine. You really probably don't want to deploy an untested version of our application and replace the current version that's working really well with one that's not been tested particularly extensively. So, as always, when testing in the development environment, it's probably important to mock services that you can't actually access directly.
Sure.
So in this case, if there are any shortfalls in what the development server offers over what App Engine offers itself, then you would probably want to mock that. Okay. So that would be the same with accessing another API that you don't want to access from development. You may just mock that service up so you can actually get reasonable results from making calls to that service. So you would probably do the same with App Engine as well, any App Engine services that are missing. And then beyond that, really, there's lots of different options for testing. Once you've deployed the application, you may, as Fred's already mentioned, you may deploy it to a different app version.
Yep.
And then you may use traffic splitting. So App Engine has this feature called traffic splitting that allows you to incrementally direct traffic towards new versions of your app. So you can actually test it in isolation to a degree, only pushing a small amount of traffic to it initially, and then slowly migrating all of the traffic over it as you get more confident in the application's performance. And again, also that other kinds of testing, load testing and such like, you don't really want to do load testing on a production application. So you would probably need to build a different version of your application and deploy that, and do your testing on that particular version of your application. You're also likely to need data as well, so you need to probably have a representative set of sample data that you can deploy your application. Because if you have an empty data store, it's not really going to give you exactly the same kind of results that your production application would do. So you probably want to define a set of data that you can actually populate into your application initially to do the testing with. Yep,
those are very, very good points. The one thing that bites people a lot of times when they're testing in a different application ID, or even on their production application before they launch, is people will not use representative workloads.
Right.
So they'll, instead of creating, say, 1,000 unique accounts, which is sometimes tricky to do, they'll say, okay, we'll take 10 accounts and we'll have each one log in 100 times, all running concurrently. And those access patterns actually change kind of the way the data is utilized, and you don't get very representative results there. So you already talked about making sure that you have some good sample data there, making sure you have good representative requests and users logging in. It's kind of just as important. In any case, as much as you can kind of take the production environment that you expect and replicate it, the closer you get, the closer your results are going to match, obviously.
Okay. So you can use tools as well, like Selenium and JMeter, those kind of things for load testing.
Absolutely.
The same kind of tools you would use for any kind of web application to generate tests. And they generate representative workloads, believe me.
They do. Just watch out that you're not testing from one machine that just doesn't have a big enough network connection.
Yeah, don't talk to me about client side, because if your client can't handle the load, then you're never going to actually load up the server the way you think you are. So you need to make sure you can actually generate the load correctly. You're not falling over a lack of client resources as well when you're testing.
I guess you can always get a few instances on Compute Engine. There's some capacity there.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Nice big pipe of data.